Welcome back to Canadian Wrench. So I got two different repairs to do. They both happened, both breakdowns happened at the same time, opposite ends of the city. And my wife was in one car and I was in the truck, and I limped home only to get a message that she was broken down. So I jumped in the Honda, which never breaks down, and until tomorrow, of course, and went and rescued her. So I covered all that in the video. So anyway, I've got two different videos. I separated them just to make it easier for you guys to watch. Alright, stay tuned. So, as I was limping the truck home with a bad alternator, my wife was sitting on the shoulder in this car because it had overheated and shut down, went into limp mode. So what I've done is I've removed this ducting. I got to find out what's going on. It was low on coolant. Luckily she was right by a drugstore, so I went in and bought some distilled water, topped it up, and drove it home. So I just removed this ducting. I covered it over because it is autumn and there are leaves everywhere. It snows leaves here right now. Okay, so I've removed the pan. Here it is here. I see antifreeze there. I see staining there. Alright, let's look underneath. Alrighty, it's dripping. And more dripping. And can we see, let me see here. Here's the shutoff, or the drain cock for the rad. But I see dripping over here. That, and that's the overflow tank, which again I put one of those in this thing already, which is about normal for some of our parts of today. Alright, let's see if I can just tighten that up. We'll start with that. So I did get a little turn out of it, but I still see dripping, so maybe I'll pull that guy right out of there. Have a look at it and see what's going on. I did add water and I want to strengthen up the coolant because winter's coming. So I'll get a drain bucket. So here I removed the drain plug in the overflow, and there is an O-ring on there. So because I've changed this overflow recently, and recently it was a couple of years ago, so I guess it could be worn out by now. I'm going to change that O-ring to start with. Let's see if that stops the leak, because it was just dripping out of this plug, and that stops it from coming out here, so it makes the most sense to me. Again, so many leaves falling, and to cover with a drain pan that has most antifreeze in it, because leaves are just going everywhere. It's unbelievable. Alright, let's see if I have an O-ring kicking around. Alright, let's go over to my stash of parts here. Somewhere I've got O-rings. Here we go, O-rings. So we'll grab that and see if I got one that fits. So the O-ring didn't work, so option B is to replace the expansion tank. I replaced it once. It was leaking as well. I don't think from the same area, but whatever. So it has these funny clamps, which are springs really. They fit in slots. They're common with Volkswagen and German cars anyway, but they seem to work. So we'll get this off. I'm going to gain access. I'm going to remove this bit, and we'll get this thing changed. So I removed those two covers that were here. I'm just gaining access to this thing, and I think it has a hook that slides into the shroud here or something like that. I'll go look at the new one and just confirm. Yeah, these are fun to work on. Alright, so there's one of those steel clamp things, those spring clamps. There's one there, there's one there. You can see this one's open already. I pulled it up. Can we see this one? Yeah, just barely. You can see it. I got it up there pretty good, so enough I can get my finger under there. And there's another one down there. I disconnected it and actually pulled the wire right out. But we'll get that fixed up. So on the very bottom, I'm gonna get my arm down in here somehow. there's a steel clip, and you can get your hand down here, you can actually pull it out, and it moves this direction. So I got that released. Now I'm going to detach all these hoses, slide them out, and out comes the reservoir. So I got the hoses off. I took the one back in here. This upper one was a little bit in the way, you just pull it out of the way. And I got the reservoir off. And in the bottom, down there, is the the thermostat for the transmission. So it takes a little bit of effort, but eventually, ooh, it got loose. You will get the other half out. There we go. Oops, there we go. And the spring, and there was another piece landed in the bucket. I see it down there now in the brass. There it is here. Yeah. So anyway, that comes with the reservoir, luckily. And there's the old reservoir. So, rest of your bits. And oh, there was the coolant sensor as well. So all I did is I twisted, you just turn it 90 degrees and it comes out. Now I'll unplug it and put it, I don't know if the new one comes with it. We'll have a look. Let's look. So here's the new reservoir. Came with the sensor, that's great. That's where that steel clip goes, rides in here, and you want the part that you got to pull out over here so you can access it the next time you got to put one of these on. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Put it back. There's an alignment dowel on the back here. It aligns back in here. So just make sure you get that all lined up, and it should go fairly smoothly. The only thing I would add is put a little bit of lube and a little Vaseline or something like that, just on the O-rings. Helps everything go together nicely. One other thing, there is an alignment dowel right there. That little tab lines up on the bigger hole on that side, on the rad side of that port where it sits. All right, let's get this guy in. There's my alignment dowel. So make sure you push down firmly, and when that alignment dowel that I pointed out is flush with the rest of the ring up here, this plastic ring, it's where it's got to be. Like I said, you got to push firmly. All right, so push down firmly, make sure that clip is seated. Push all the hoses on, and make sure all those clips are seated. Make sure you hear the click. That's about it. Make sure your sensor is connected. It was. A little bit of something like Vaseline or something on all the O-rings in there. Makes everything go together really smooth. And now I'm just putting the ducting back on. And I got the other piece to go on still. And I'm going to start it up. Right now I've opened the bleeder. So this thing right here, you'll see there's a groove in the screw. And that's to let the air out. Alright. When you're done and you're checking your level, there's a little float in there. If you've never done it before. There's the top ball, there's the bottom ball. I'll show you on here. So the top ball is way up here, and the bottom ball is even with the lip of the reservoir there. So that's full. That's minimum. So not much else to say about that. Okay, I took it for a drive, and everything was good. Temperature was good. No problems at all. If you haven't seen my video on the Henry J, you should check that out. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.